In this tutorial, I'm going to show you how to create stained glass using epoxy and a 3D print. I take my 3D print and I put it on top of a polypropylene board. I tape it with masking tape all around the edges so that it's sealing the 3D print to the board. I make sure it's really nice and tight so that when you flip it over, it actually won't come off. I mix up my epoxy, 1 part resin and 1 part hardener, and then I apply a thin coat to the bottom layer. And what I'm doing here is I'm sealing the edges so that way when I start using the color won't go underneath the outline and it won't bleed through. You want to wait about 12 to 24 hours for that first layer to dry before you start applying the second layer. I'm impatient, I skipped this step, so luckily I didn't have too much bleed through. I applied my alcohol ink directly to the epoxy within the mold. I did this to give it a different look and to have a little more control of the color. I used my kebab stick to blend it and mix it up and make sure that I got into the corners. It was fun to do it this way. Just be careful that you don't drip that alcohol ink into the other sections and make sure you're wiping off that stick. When you're done, leave it for about 24 hours and then remove the masking tape. You can then pop it off of the board. I didn't wait the full 24 hours, so I had a little bit of a hard time getting this to remove from the board. But basically, I'm just bending the board back and loosening it up. As you can see, the epoxy was still a little soft. So even though I didn't wait for that base layer to dry and I removed it too early, my epoxy and 3D print made a really nice stained glass.